All right, we are ready to start the next session. If everybody could please take a seat. This next session is a panel presentation, and it is focused on a workforce development program, Rise from Poverty While Answering the Nation's Skills Gap. And I am joined here on stage by four very smart ladies that I will quickly introduce to you. Dr. Katie Leonard, raise your hand. Thank you. Dr. Katie Leonard is president of Johnson College. She began her job there previously in 2007 as the college's coordinator of grants and the annual fund. And then in 2018, after a nationwide search, she was selected as the college's 8th president and CEO. And so in her time with the college, Dr. Leonard has formed many good industry relationships. She's reestablished the alumni program, and she's increased annual giving. And she initiated the college's rebranding in 2011. She also executed the college's first ever capital campaign in 2013. And under her leadership, she's joined the rankings of premier technical education, being ranked number 10 on Forbes' top 25 two-year trade schools. So we welcome her to this session. Hold on, having difficulty. My papers are stuck together. All right, next I'd like to introduce Lisa Durkin. Thank you. Lisa is the Chief Executive Officer of the United Neighborhood Centers and the United Neighborhood Community Development Corporation. She began her career there in 1998 when she was hired as a housing counselor. And then in 2007, she was promoted to the Director of Community Services, where she supervised over 20 crisis intervention programs serving the needs of low-income families and individuals. She became the Chief Operating Officer and developed an education department and community health department within the agency. She's been named also the NEPA Business Journal's Top 20 Under 40, and in 2013 she completed the Exercise Leadership Institute through the Alliance for Strong Families and Communities at the University of Michigan. Liz Finley, raise your hand, is the program coordinator of RISE, the Readiness and Skilled Employment, that's the acronym. And where is your, oh no. Dawn, how about you introduce yourself very quickly? I don't seem to have your bio.
Liz Finley, Program Director of RISE. I've been with RISE from the beginning and eager to share more with you about it today.
Thank you. I apologize. Somehow that got left out of my packet. And Dr. Kellen Williams, last on my left there, is the Associate Vice President of Special Programs at Johnson College. She's been there for 5 years, working to enhance STEM learning, reduce student barriers, and engage women in various industries. So without further delay, I'll turn it over to the ladies. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Krista. Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Finley, Program Director of RISE. RISE stands for Readiness and Skilled Employment. On behalf of the McGown Charitable Fund, I'm here today with our partners, Johnson College, United Neighborhood Centers, and the Institute. And we're very eager to share with you what makes RISE such a unique workforce development initiative, different from any other in our region. And first, I'd like to explain to you how it came to be. So there's a saying, see a need, meet a need. And there is a critical need for our local residents to have opportunities for good, sustainable, living wage jobs with benefits. We see this need continue to rise even after the height of the pandemic. Shelters have an ever-increasing need for those that are near or experiencing homelessness. The Weinberg Foundation, the food bank, reports a 30% increase to people needing food assistance. And we know that there's still a nation skills gap to fill, looking for skilled workers to fill the retiring baby boomer generation. Just in our region, there are over 7,000 positions available, looking for skilled workers to step in. So how do we solve this problem of an increasing need to help people rise from poverty? RISE meets people to that need on a regional level. The McGowan Fund is an organization of philanthropy who wants to truly solve problems and not just have short-term Band-Aid solutions. Our need is to help solve the problem for low or no income residents with little education and improve the health of the overall community. Available to residents 18 years and older who reside in Lackawanna and Luzerne counties, RISE supports adults interested in earning a hands-on education for an in-demand career path in one of 6 tracks. Those currently living 250% below the nation's poverty line may qualify for this opportunity to earn an academic or technical certificate at no financial cost. There is, however, the cost of their time. Our RISE students work very hard through this program in their selected field of study. This program can require up to 40 hours a week. Through the McGowan Charitable Fund, all barriers are removed with the intent of lightening the load of stressors. By allowing our RISE champions to focus on earning their certification and landing that job that puts them on the path for an in-demand career. They're then trampolined out of poverty into earning a living wage for the rest of their life, from surviving to striving to thriving, and setting a strong foundation for generations to come. Long-term sustainable results, that is our goal for helping people rise out of poverty. And that's where our cohesive partnership comes in. Johnson College provides career training for living wage jobs and introduces employment opportunities, while United Neighborhood Centers provides personalized coaching and comprehensive tailored support services to remove barriers that might stifle one's success by making room for this transformational experience.
All right, thanks so much, Liz. As mentioned, I'm Dr. Katie Leonard, President and CEO of Johnson College. And our role in this, we like to say that we are founded and grounded in industry. We're founded by a wealthy coal baron, Orlando S. Johnson. So he came directly from industry, always included men and women when he founded the trade school here in Scranton. And we like to say that it carries forward today. All of our programs are, grounded in industry. We work directly with industry partners. They help us develop the curriculum and make updates to the curriculum. So for us, when it comes to RISE, you could say the easy part is what we already do best, right? We are a technical college with the region's only 2-year technical college. So for us, the delivery of the core programs of computer information technology, diesel truck technology, building property management, welding, industrial technology, health service, that's at the core and heart of what we already do for our students. And I like to think we do it the best around. Again, we're the only ones who do what we do in the region. So that's a critical piece. So they're learning those skills. And as Liz mentioned, they're then going to earn, get those skills that they can take anywhere and always have a family sustaining wage. Most of the positions that they start in have a median wage of between $40,000 and $55,000, and it only goes up from there if they add to their education, add to their skills, and add to their career. So the really unique part of this, and what I want to focus on, is what's up here, and that's our cohort model and collaborative curriculum. So as Liz mentioned, we are a collaboration, which I think is pretty unique in and of itself. It's a great partnership. As I said, I'd like to think nobody does what Johnson College does better when it comes to how we deliver our brand of education. And in my mind, nobody does better what United Neighborhood Centers does in terms of removing barriers. So us coming together, the unique part of this is really that kind of integration of the curriculum that we develop, that we deliver to the cohort. So when they're in their Johnson College classes, they've picked their major or their area of study, and they're in classes with all Johnson College students. But when they come together in that cohort model, it is exactly how RISE is developed. They're developing their own relationships, their own partnerships, their own collaborations. They're learning from each other. They're bonding. They now have a support system that they've never had before. And the curriculum that's delivered to all of them is a lot of what they can then rely on each other and bounce ideas off each other. So some sessions include, budgeting. Nobody's ever talked to them about budgeting before, how to establish a family budget, how to prioritize. We focus a lot on executive function skills, making decisions, kind of knowing time management, just all those skills that some of us take for granted. That's really the unique curriculum that we've worked so hard with United Neighborhood Centers to develop, and bringing in people directly from industry, again, to deliver that curriculum. We also bring in industry mentors. From day one, they learn about the career opportunities, so they get to see themselves from day one. In this, intense 9-month program, they know at the end, okay, I'm shaking hands with somebody that could be a potential employer. And our goal, as with all of our students, is to get them from, that front door, exposed to industry, get the skills that they need, and right out into the workforce. So we're really creating a workforce that hasn't been there before. And again, from day one, it's all about that unique cohort, that partnership, and that exposure to industry.
Thanks. Lisa Durkin, United Neighborhood Centers. So when we were developing this program, we knew for certain that the participants would not be successful if they didn't have barriers removed. We've been doing this kind of work at our agency for many, many years. We've seen some things that work, some things that don't. The families that we're trying to reach in this program have had lifelong struggles overcoming poverty, and continue to struggle, many of them, not because they're not resilient, but many times because the path has just never been cleared enough and for long enough for them to get there. So we knew for certain this wouldn't work by removing one barrier. They all had to be removed. And we had to walk with them on that now clear path and encourage them and keep pushing along the way. So that was the method we put together. So our experienced case managers assist with removing barriers that otherwise prevent somebody from being able to attend a program like this and really put themselves into a program like this for these kinds of results. The big ones are things that you know about. I always kind of talk about the big three: housing, transportation, education, childcare. That's four, because I usually can't decide what the big three are on any given day. Food. And it all just makes perfect sense, right? Nobody can, first step is somebody has to have a bed to wake up in. They've got to have a place where they can take their children to be cared for the day. They've got to have some transportation to get them to school and attend these classes. They've got to have food. All of that is important. And then there's the other things that maybe aren't as seemingly as big, but they have a profound effect on somebody's ability to make it through an educational program. Things like what we found, utility bills. They don't get high priority when you're working a tight budget. Those big ones, first pay the rent, get food on the table, get the kids taken care of. They're the big ones. The utility bills, they get juggled and shuffled and sometimes last to pay. And that's not the huge stressor until that bill becomes a shut-off notice. And then for a person to sit through an education program and get anything out of that, while they're grappling with, what am I going home to today? Is my heat going to be shut off or my light's going to be off? They just wouldn't succeed. Very similar. We've seen so much research, right, about children and going to school, how they, if they eat a breakfast, if they're nourished, their brains are working, they can function, they're going to be more successful. Adults are going to be more successful if they have their basic needs met. That's sort of the simple concept, but it's not always simple to make happen. So that's what we're working with the participants on. Part of that too comes, we combine the second step is really the coaching. So supporting participants through setting and achieving goals with a focus on executive skills. Common examples of the executive skills: organization, flexibility, time management, working memory, stress tolerance, and emotional control. We work through all of them. We ask our participants to identify where they think their strengths are and where they think they struggle. And it stays a part of the main focus throughout their entire participation in the program. The coaching is person-centered. We understand that the participants are the experts in their own lives, not us. We don't decide for them what their goals should be, or but for this you could be successful. They're the experts in their lives, and we work with them so that they are able to identify and achieve their own goals. Our approach is trauma-informed. We understand that individual life experiences shift how we move through life and achieve goals and succeed or not. And we use motivational interviewing. We understand that asking powerful questions allows for the rapport building and the collaboration. Sometimes what will happen in a coaching session is somebody does have a bad day, and one of these examples of executive skills that someone's not so great at has caused some damage. They may have had an emotional outburst that was inappropriate, and they're reacting to it and trying to overcome it. And what will not happen in this program is they won't be chastised, but we will try to help them work through what happened. Maybe a powerful question to start would be, was there another time in your life where something similar happened? Was there another time that you reacted differently when something like that happened? Did you get different results? What maybe could have happened? Is there a different way? And the coaching model really allows participants to come to these conclusions on their own and solve their own problems, and not feel as though somebody else has imposed what they believe appropriate behavior is, or the best way to get results is. And it seems to be working well, and it's really helped our participants not only work through those challenges, but be reminded of all the things they're really good at. It should come as no surprise that flexibility, by far and large, is the number one executive skill that our participants name as what they're best at, because they've had to be. They've had to, adapt and move and, accept something maybe that they weren't hoping for, but they can make it work. So we work with them on, making the most of those, the things that they're good at, and celebrating that they have some great skills, and that's going to carry them forward and help them have success in this program. And as Katie said, we use the cohort model. So in addition to classroom work, we're meeting twice weekly, having sessions with the participants that focus on understanding their executive skills that we talked about, how these can result in various behaviors. We blend the coaching in to those cohort sessions, bring in speakers who are experts in the field, and really encourage them to use the time to rely on one another. That has also been, I think, a great support for the participants, sharing the experience with others along the way, sharing the success of getting to the finish line of graduation, sharing the challenges of studying or, struggling with some of the things they're just not getting. And, just sharing their experience of making this decision to enter a program like this at this point in their life when they didn't think they would have such an opportunity. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. While RISE is a 9-month program, our goal is, of course, to create the long-term success that lasts the lifetime and sets the course for the future generations to follow. Our partner, the Institute, reports the progress of our RISE champions throughout the program, after graduation, and throughout employment to measure their progress in their field of study. To determine program impact, the Institute is preparing a formative and summative evaluation report to identify course corrections, quality control, and identify best practices. In addition to secondary data regarding participant social needs, demographics, program grades, etc., the Institute aims to better understand the participant while listening to their needs, similar to what Lisa said. Opinions, attitudes, suggestions of their own interview, but also while reviewing the coaching case summaries. All this data combined determines what works and why it works. A big part of RISE is the development of executive skills. As Lisa had mentioned, some of these skills, working memory, emotional control, organization, stress tolerance, these skills help in both their personal and professional lives. The Institute uses UNC's individual action plan and skills progression reports to determine the participants' successes along with their pre and post scores to evaluate skill success. Altogether, there are about 25 metrics to evaluate program success. It includes a 360 approach so that participants, teachers, coaches, partners, and employers are included in the process. A cost analysis is part of the process too, so that impact can be determined from a cost as well as an outcome perspective. Replicability and scalability can be assessed. The theory of change for this program discusses achieving financial stability. To determine if this works, participants and their employers will be tracked for a couple of years past graduation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kellen Williams. I'm the Associate Vice President of the Special Programs. I work very closely with the cohort. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their experiences and our next steps. The past 8 months were transformational for the current RISE cohort and the program. Using the data points collected, we consistently assessed and adjusted the program. We strengthened our hands-on education and collaborative curriculum to include financial, life, and soft skills. The knowledge then was reinforced in their classes and labs. The current RISE champions or cohort are a very cohesive group. They worked hard together and are eager to walk across the stage in September. Their feedback is the key to RISE's next steps and our success. I'd like to share a few comments and statements that the RISE cohort has shared. I want to get a job and continue to learn more. Life will be amazing after. I believe it will help me get somewhere in life. I will have a certification. This program gives my kids a future. I'm learning something new daily. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I love this program. As we approach the fall semester, we have specific goals for RISE's second cohort or champions. Our enrollment goal is up to 30 participants, which we're still enrolling. The cohort will be engaged with industry week 1. We will build their technical knowledge and personal confidence to succeed in today's workforce. We will retain 100% of the participants and have 100% in job placement in their field. Our overall goal for the RISE is to be a transformational experience that will change our students and their families' lives for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes the presentation. It's up to Don if we have time for questions.
100%. Questions, 1 or 2 before we break. For me, can I ask one?
Of course.
What's powerful about this is not only the accomplishments that you're talking about, but it's the partnership. Do you guys want to just, can we take this thing beyond Northeast Pennsylvania? What's that look like?
Yeah, I mean, this is a pilot program, and it's a model that's helping the need within this region. But of course, the goal is throughout the reporting and all of everything we're learning to make it scalable and replicable to be used across the nation. That's the ultimate goal. Obviously, there's areas across the nation that could benefit from this rising from poverty and helping fill the skills gap.
What's the favorite? What's the number one thing you guys learned in this process?
We definitely had to be flexible.
Adaptable, yeah. I think we've probably learned more from the students than they've learned from any of us, just in terms of resiliency. I know we talked about grit earlier. Nobody has more grit, I think, than this group of students. Just how to stick to something, and just when you think you're having a bad day, some of the barriers that they've faced from birth and what they've overcome. It's awe-inspiring.
So I had to step out. if I happen, or someone in this room happens to know someone they think that might be a good candidate for the program, who are they reaching out to?
Yeah, definitely. Our website, risenepa.org. You can go there. It's very user-friendly. Right, the eligibility tab has a button for an application right there. You fill that out, and you'll get put in our system where someone from Rise will reach out directly for the next step.
Larry.
All right, thank you for your presentation. I was just wondering, which of your I'm Larry Pellegrini from Misericordia University, and I was just wondering which of your organizations was the lead agency in this collaborative, and how did you identify your other partners? Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, Lisa and I can probably give a little bit of the history. So this actually stems back to some work sessions that I believe the Weinberg Foundation brought together. It was before COVID. They brought in the Aspen Institute and they were focusing on workforce development. So after those sessions, Lisa and I just stayed in touch and said, we kind of put our heads together. We started developing programs. We have another program, Upward Mobility, which I feel like was the precursor to Rise. And then Teri Ooms from the Institute knew of the good work that we were doing and had been having conversations with McGowan because they were interested in workforce development programs, specifically in northeastern Pennsylvania. So Teri then brought us together, and that's really, where the conversations started and how they've blossomed.
Yeah, it was the best kind of partnership because I think we both, in our early conversations, recognized this is what we do really good, but we can't do this, or
Right.
we don't know how to get involved in
Yeah.
this. So really, just blending what we each do best is how we conceptualize the program.
Tony said that he would be quick if you would be quick. How about one more?
Thanks, Don. Tony Grieco, Executive Director, Luzerne Intermediate, Unit 18, Luzerne County. Question regarding the sustainability of the program. So, listening to your presentation, and thank you very much for the information, thinking through the pockets of students we have in our districts, the at-risk seniors, dropout prevention students, the large population of homeless and foster youth that we have throughout the region. Getting kids engaged in the program, is there, as you said, it's a pilot program, is there long-term sustainability that if we get kids started, there's a commitment from the project to allow them to complete?
That was the short question. So you can give the short answer and then you can absolutely spend time with Tony afterwards because you could probably do a whole session on that, Tony.
Yeah, through the McGowan Charitable Fund, they're committed to helping people rise from poverty and really helping this region, like we had mentioned, the special interest of Lackawanna and Luzerne County in general. So we don't want a Band-Aid solution. Yes, we want people that are 18 or older. So looking at those rising seniors, they would be great applicants to get in our pipeline, get familiar with our support services, and then enroll for that cohort when they're qualified. We want this to be something that becomes self-sufficient, so they will continue the support services throughout their needs, and at some point become self-sufficient to be removed from the support services and flourish on their own, leaving room for more people to then become in the program. What's that? Round of the day?
You're around all day.
I am around today. Yes, sorry, I need my ears checked, I guess. I have business cards. If anyone's interested, yes, you can connect with me, Liz Finley, Program Director. I'd be happy to have individual conversations about eligibility. Thank you.
So listen, before they turn the tape off, I love this project. I'm so glad they're here today. I'm so glad what they're doing for our region. I love this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don.